On August 3rd, 2009, a visibly distressed young woman was filmed outside a hotel in Mexico. Her name was Gabriela Rico Jiménez. She was 20 years old. In the footage, she frantically claims that they eat humans. She says she had been held against her will and attended an elite party. Shortly after, police officers escorted her away. After that night, she disappeared from public view. To this day, her fate remains unknown. This video fueled long-standing conspiracy theories about powerful elites, theories involving human sacrifice, blood rituals and cannibalism. Ideas that have existed for centuries. The belief that some groups sacrifice children or use their blood for rituals is a well-known anti-Semitic myth. Known as the blood libel, it has existed since the Middle Ages, but these ideas go back even further. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus already wrote about alleged ritual killings of children, cannibalism and the drinking of human blood. During the Hellenistic period, educated Greeks directed similar accusations against Jews. These narratives continued into Roman times. Later, during the persecution of Christians in Rome, the same ritual murder accusations were turned against Christians themselves. At the same time, there were societies where eating human flesh was not taboo. The Aztecs are often cited as an example. In certain ritual and spiritual contexts, parts of sacrificed captives may have been consumed. This practice was highly symbolic and strictly regulated. Cannibalism has also appeared in places where severe famines occurred, often caused by dictators such as Stalin or Mao Zedong. During these times, millions of people died from hunger. In both China and Ukraine, there were numerous reports of cannibalism. In Ukraine, there were even reports of groups hunting other people in order to eat them. After the 1972 crash of Air Force Flight 521 in the Andes, survivors ate the bodies of the dead to stay alive. But hunger was not always the reason. The infamous cannibal of Rothenburg, Armin Meiwes, ate human flesh because of a deeply disturbed personal desire. Cannibalism not only appears in conspiracy theories, but also in movies, games and pop culture. In the video game Fallout New Vegas, an elite group in post-apocalyptic Las Vegas runs a casino while secretly practicing cannibalism. In Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, cannibalism is not part of the story, but the theme of a hidden elite is very much present. The movie portrays a secretive elite engaged in obscure and ritualized gatherings. While fictional, such portrayals reflect long-standing fears of hidden power structures. For centuries, Jewish communities were falsely accused of similar acts. These stories were used to create fear, spread hatred, and justify persecution. They were not based on evidence, but on prejudice and the need to create an enemy. When the Nazis rose to power, they revived older conspiracy myths about the supposed Jewish world conspiracy. Anti-Semitic forgeries like the Protocols of the Elders of Zion had already circulated for decades before the Nazi era. Newspapers like the despicable Stürmer accused the Jews of ritual murder and blood consumption. Jewish banking families like the Rothschilds have faced vicious slander, hatred and conspiracy theories since the 19th century. Even today, many people still believe in the myth of a Jewish world conspiracy. Hitler used these lies to spread hatred and to justify the largest industrial mass murder in history. But Jews were not the only group accused of such acts. Secret societies like the Illuminati or the Freemasons have also repeatedly been drawn into these kinds of narratives. There were even cases where people were falsely accused of cannibalism or ritual murder to damage them politically. One well-known example is Elizabeth Bathory, sometimes called the Blood Countess. She was accused of murdering young women and bathing in her blood to preserve her youth. Modern historians dispute the more extreme claims, suggesting many accusations were exaggerated or politically motivated. When the COVID pandemic began, many old and new conspiracy theories came back. One of them, widely spread by the American QAnon movement, claimed that powerful elites were harvesting a substance called adrenochrome from children. They alleged that operations were hidden beneath a Washington DC restaurant. Like many conspiracy theories before it, this claim was not based on evidence, but on fear, fantasy, and old myths about hidden elites. The arrest and later death of Jeffrey Epstein reignited discussions about elite networks and secrecy. Epstein had many connections to powerful individuals. After his death, speculation spread that some of those figures may have wanted him silenced. Speculation intensified online when portions of the so-called Epstein-Files were released in 2026. Certain documents reference extreme claims. It involves cannibalizing infants and removing their intestines on Epstein's yacht. All of this was done by persons such as George H.W. Bush, Henry Kissinger and George Soros. These unconfirmed revelations brought the case of Gabriela Rico Jiménez back to the fore. For many, this was proof that Jimenez had not lied. But what is really the truth? And how is this case connected to Epstein? And what did she see?
Sus hijos valen mucho la pena y los necesita su padre. Eres un en el alma. Me va a doler en el alma que me lo hayan quitado. Déjenme paz. Porque me llevaron al Ministerio Público y ahí me dijeron que no sabían nada. Me llevaron a los exagerados tú. Ahí acabas en la comisaría. Vayan por el tipo de
With the Epstein case and the partial release of related files, speculation around the video resurfaced once again. Some began to draw connections between Jimenez and Jeffrey Epstein. However, there is no evidence linking her to Epstein. Her name does not appear in any of the released documents, nor is there any reference to her, the hotel, or the claims she made. Still, certain claims within the Epstein files fueled these theories. One statement in particular was widely circulated online. But the source of that claim is not considered reliable. The person was neither a confirmed victim nor a proven associate, but rather part of uncorroborated information collected during the investigation. Despite this, the claim was used by some as supposed evidence that elites were involved in extreme rituals. including cannibalism. Another piece of evidence often cited online is a video showing Epstein with a swollen lip. Some link this to a disease called Kuro, but Kuro is a rare neurological disorder caused by brains, and while it has historically been associated with ritual cannibalism in specific isolated cases, it's not caused by cannibalism in general, nor can it be diagnosed based on something like a swollen lip. The symptoms of Kuro are entirely different, primarily affecting the nervous system, not causing visible swelling like this. However, in the video, Jimenez mentions a name that appears in the Epstein-Files, Carlos Slim, but not in connection to any crime. Carlos Slim was once the richest man in the world and remains one of the most powerful and influential figures in Mexico. In fact, his influence is so powerful that according to WikiLeaks, even drug cartels are said to fear his influence. Whether Carlos Slim was involved or not cannot be proven at this point, but the fear and desperation in Jimenez's voice are hard to ignore. If we step away from Epstein and conspiracy theories for a moment and focus on the facts, we might come to very different conclusions about what is really behind her behavior. We know her name, we know her age. What is not proven, even though it's often claimed online, is that she is a model or that she attended an elite party. Just look at her appearance. She's barefoot, wearing a t-shirt that says Yummy. And how did this scene even begin? When did the camera crew arrive? Where did Jimenez come from? Did she come out of the hotel where this alleged elite party took place? Or was she outside the whole time, never actually inside as a guest? Let's assume for a moment that she is telling the truth and that she witnessed something truly horrific, because there is a disturbing possibility here about what Jimenez may have experienced or what she may have seen. To understand this, we have to look at where and when this video was recorded. The footage was filmed in Monterrey, a city that at the time was already heavily affected by the cartel known as Los Zetas. Los Zetas were among the most brutal and violent criminal organizations Mexico had ever seen. From the late 1990s until around 2013, they spread fear and terror across the country. Countless atrocities have been attributed to them. Many of the so-called gore videos circulating online are believed to be linked to cartel violence. Victims were sometimes displayed in public, hung from bridges, or dismembered and left in open spaces as a message to rivals and authorities. By the time this video appeared, Monterrey was already heavily affected by cartel activity. So what if Jimenez wasn't just surrounded by wealthy or influential people at that hotel, but also by high-ranking members of a cartel like Los Zetas? Corruption has long been a serious issue in parts of Mexico where business figures and politicians have, in some cases, been linked to organized crime. And there's another disturbing aspect to consider. There have been documented cases of extreme violence carried out by cartel members, including reports of cannibalism. Could this be part of what Jimenez believed she had witnessed? Cartel cannibalism? There's another possibility to consider, especially since she repeatedly says that she just wants to be free. Could it be that she had been abducted and somehow managed to escape? In Mexico, thousands of women go missing every year. It is one of the most severe missing persons crises in the world. So, is it also possible that she became a victim? That she was abducted? And that her disappearance is not as mysterious as it seems, but tragically real, especially considering that no one has heard from her since. She simply vanished. But there's one final possibility, one that, to many, may seem the most plausible. There are indications that she may have previously been in a psychiatric facility. The YouTuber Scare Theater found a clip from a Mexican TV broadcast, likely from the same channel that filmed Jimenez outside the hotel. In that report, the presenters claimed that she had only recently been released from a psychiatric institution. Maybe she was experiencing a psychotic episode or struggling with a serious mental condition. Mental health is also a major issue in Mexico. Access to psychological care is often limited, especially outside major cities. While treatment and medication do exist, many people struggle to receive proper care due to cost, availability, and social stigma. As a result, many individuals with mental health conditions remain untreated, possibly also in the case of Jimenez. But there's one thing we should not forget today. especially after the revelations surrounding Epstein and persons like Donald Trump. Victims must be taken seriously. The depths of human cruelty are far greater than many people realize, and we do not need conspiracy theories about secret basements, powerful elites, drinking the blood of children, or performing dark rituals. Reality is often far more disturbing on its own. If you look more closely at the Epstein-Files, there are cases that are real, not theories. Cases that show what actually happened. These are not stories or rumors, they are part of a documented reality, so we do not need to invent even darker fantasies when the truth itself is already difficult enough to face.